at the Carboot on the hunt for the weird, wonderful, valuable and rare, and preferably retro. And this time we find an item which ticks all of these boxes.
Get pick up! Duty the Gangster! Rush Tricks! Not get hunting!
Again folks, and welcome to a very special live game hunting video. That's because this time we are back at the greatest car boot in the world, Arming Hall on the outskirts of Norwich. And car boots will always be my favourite place to hunt for cool items to add to my collection, because when I first started collecting, it was car boots where I built my collection from the ground up, because there is no cheaper or better place to find some of the most random items for your collection. If you enjoyed this video, please hit that like button and please subscribe, as I put new videos out every Saturday night 5 as well as bonus content throughout the week, and I really want you folks along for the ride, as we are always hitting up car boots, charity shops, pawn shops, game shops, CX, anywhere we can find awesome items for the collection. Now, let's hit the car boot and try and find something cool. Here we go then, Sunday morning at a slightly grey and miserable Arming Hall car boot, but it doesn't seem to be stopping people as the cars are queued up to come in, so let's get started. First stall, we have some Wii games. Now, some Wii games can trade into CX for some decent credit. Nothing here really, but a nice little cardboard slipcase I haven't seen before here for Wii Music, so for a quid, I'm grabbing it. Now here's something I haven't seen at the car boot for a while, CRT TVs. Now, as a general rule of thumb, I won't pick up anything electronic from a car boot unless I can get it for a super cheap price. And at £25 each, I did decide to pass on these, even though they were very, very tempting. The same can be said for Funko Pops. If I can get these super cheap, yes, I'll probably pick them up, especially if there's something I'm interested in, such as this one, Portal 2. I think they were asking £5 on this, maybe a good price, but for that price, I did pass. But I also had a very large box of DVDs, and in there were some games, and this steelbook of Frontline's Fuel of War. Now, it is for the PC, but it was a really, really nice steelbook and in really good condition. These were all 50p each, and a game here I've heard nothing but good things about, so 2 for a quid, can't go wrong. Now, of course, when you visit any car boot, you have no guarantee you're going to find any video games whatsoever, and I'm happy to say so far today we are finding lots of games. Now, with a majority of these games, yes, they are shovelware, but you can still find some super cheap, very good games at the car boot for super cheap prices, especially for consoles like the Xbox 360, the PlayStation 3. As you can see here, loads of games for £1, £2 each. Now, I was gutted this was the Wii version of My Horse and Me and not the Xbox 360 version, because that commands an insane price. But there's loads of good titles here, good games for the Xbox 360 for just £1, £2. It goes to show you can start video game collecting on a cheap and pick up some amazing titles for just £1. When I'm at the car boot, I'm always looking for new items I can flip either into CX or on eBay, but I've never sold Hot Wheels before. Now, I don't have the best knowledge about these, so I did decide to pass, but let me know in the comments down below, is it worth picking up Hot Wheels brand new at the car boot? Now, this next stall had some absolutely incredible items. Starting off with this Saints Row the 3rd Platinum Edition, which I think is a headset for the game, and I think maybe a copy of the game. Now, all of the games here were priced individually, and most of the prices were about market value. Now, I have nothing against this. Yes, we all like getting a good deal at the car boot, but sometimes when it comes to stalls like this, they've done the hard work for you. They've gone out and found the games. Now, you just have to pay for them. Now, you can see there's some really, really good titles here, and I'm happy to pay these prices if it's a game I really, really want in the collection. Unfortunately, I didn't really find anything here I couldn't live without or I didn't already have in the collection, but there's some really cool things here, including this PS1 steelbook. That was a thing of absolute beauty. Some really nice bits, and honestly, sometimes it's just good to mix it up at the car boot and pick something up a little bit rarer and a bit more expensive for the collection. On the other end of the scale, here we had some plushies super cheap, 50p each. Now, I won't pick up plushies very often. I'm trying to pick these up a bit more often, as some of these do hold some decent value, but for my personal collection, 50p each, I grabbed 3. Here we go again, Xbox 360 games, all £1 each. Now, by now, I have a pretty massive Xbox 360 collection. I have well over 500 games, because most of the games I've picked up for the Xbox 360, I've picked up like this at the car boot for £1, 50p. I've said it before, but it's a fantastic way to collect for a console such as the Xbox 360, because so many people are getting rid of their collections, and in years to come, some of these games are going to be more desirable. So collect now while it's cheap. This next seller was a stall I'd never seen before called Pokécraft, and they had an incredible business card. But not only that, they had some absolutely incredible items for sale, including this new and sealed copy of the Pokemon movie, which was very tempting as it had the new and sealed Mewtwo card inside the VHS tape. It did have a pretty high price tag, but it was very cool to see, much like these comics, these Pokemon Tales comics, which I'd never seen before, in absolutely incredible condition with absolutely amazing artwork. Some very nice pieces here, very cool to see. With Halloween just around the corner, it's time to start sorting those Halloween costumes. This one was tempting for £2.50. This absolutely iconic Austin Powers costume, but not quite scary enough for Halloween. Oh, behave. Moving on from Halloween to Christmas, here we have the Gremlins collection. Now, I've been wanting to rewatch Gremlins 2 for quite a while, and honestly, sometimes it's just easier to watch films from a DVD, especially when all these box sets were just 50p, so cheap grab here. Now, without a shadow of a doubt, this was my find of the day. As I said at the start of the video, we were looking for the weird, the wonderful, the rare, and somewhat expensive. This was just £5. It's an arcade stick for both the SNES and the Mega Drive, and as a retro gamer for a £5, no brainer. Now, I'm a fan of pretty much everything TMNT based, but I think I draw the line of these Netflix era Turtles. I'm just not a big fan of this style, so I did pass. Next up, we have good friends of the channel and fellow collector Console77, who is often selling here at Arming Hall Carboot, and every time he has an incredible selection of tape-based and retro games, and every time I visit, me and my wife handpick a couple of tape-based games to add to the collection. Straight away, I'm grabbing Nightmare. What an incredible kids TV show this was. I say kids with somewhat inverted commas, as that program got really, really dark in places, but I just absolutely loved it. It's probably why I love playing D&D today, and I just love the artwork on some of these old tape-based games, because basically, let's not beat around the bush, back in the day, they had to sell these on the artwork because the graphics weren't doing it. I'm not saying these games have bad graphics, but you had to use your imagination somewhat. And that's what I love about these games. It's the look. They just look so incredibly cool. I just think in today, most video games do not have this kind of hand-painted, incredible artwork. Retro artwork like this just hits differently. Case in point, here we have some of the most generic artwork on the gaming scene, Call of Duty. I did pick up both these games here for £3. I wasn't sure if I needed them in the collection, but for £3 I thought that was a pretty decent deal, whether to trade into CX or to bundle up and sell on Vinted. Now, this ticks some major boxes here. I like VHS, I like metal, I like Iron Maiden, and these Iron Maiden live VHS tapes were very, very cool. £5 each, so I did decide to pass. I think if I could have bundled these up, maybe both for a £5, I would have grabbed them. But sticking with the metal theme, next up we have this massive box of CDs here. Now, I've cut the footage down because I spent a good 10-15 minutes digging through here, picking out some incredible CDs, because it's a great time to buy CDs at the car boot, as I believe CDs are due a resurgence, and again, grab now while they're cheap. Final stores here at Arming Hall. We have some good retro here. Retro games, retro toys, everything retro that I love, including these incredible original TMNT hand puppets. Now, these were a little bit highly priced, so I did decide to pass, but these just hit me right on nostalgia. Even at a great and dreary morning here at Arming Hall Carboot, we've managed to add some incredible items to the collection for super cheap, which brings some sunshine to my life. Here we are then, back in the games room after an awesome Sunday morning at Arming Hall Carboot. And even though the weather was a little bit grey, we still managed to find a little bit of everything I love at the car boot this time, spending just under 30 quid, which also goes to show you can slowly build a collection like this one on a budget. And straight off we have some very cheap games, which is basically how I built my gaming collection from the start, picking up games for 50p a pound at a car boot. So first up we have Wii Music, which has this really nice slip case. Now, as a collector, I'm always on the lookout for anything kind of weird, wonderful, rare, and just slightly different like this. And It's Nintendo cardboard. It was just £1. Yes, it's Wii Music, but it's a cool variant on the Wii Music disc. And I'll probably just get rid of my old version without the sleeve case and keep this one in the collection. Then we have 2 games I picked up for £1, 50p each. First off, simply because this was a steelbook, Frontlines Fuel of War, in really, really good condition for the PC. Now, I wouldn't normally pick up PC games, but this steelbook's absolutely beautiful, and if you've been a fan of the channel for any length of time, you'll know I'm a sucker for a good steelbook. Then a game I think my good friend Scott recommended I needed to play, Robot Wars Arenas of Destruction for the PS2 for 50p for a game which I've heard, like I said, good things about. Had to pick this one up, so picking up both those games for £1 was a really good deal. And comment down below if when you were growing up you wanted to be so badly on Robot Wars. Next up we have a DVD box set. It's always worth keeping an eye out for these at the Carboot because some DVD box sets do trade in for some decent credit of CX. Unfortunately, this one doesn't. Gremlins 1 and Gremlins 2 in this very nice slipcase here. But honestly, I just wanted these 2 films for the collection because these are 2 of my favourite, I think they're 80s or 90s films of all time. Absolute classics. And just because these films come and go on streaming services and DVDs last forever. Next up, we have a good old pile of retro from my good friend, fellow collector and seller at Arming Hall, Console 77. And every time I visit his stall, I have to pick up some random cassette-based games from him, as I've seen his collection before. It's incredible. So first off, we have Nightmare for the Amstrad and the Spectrum. Much like Robot Wars, growing up, I absolutely loved Nightmare. It's one of my favourite cult kids TV shows. It's such a good show, and honestly, if you remember it, I'm sure you've got nothing but fond memories of it, like myself. Then we have this game right here, which my wife picked out, The Nightbreed, because it's just a case covered in skulls. I have no idea what the game is about. There's no artwork or anything. We do have a manual in here, which just doesn't really answer any of the questions. I'll try and find some footage to put on the side of this one, but yeah, very intrigued by that one. And that's normally why I pick up cassette-based games such as this one, because I just judge these by the cover, quite literally, and anything that intrigues me I pick up, such as Dungeon Quest. It's a dude riding an eagle. What more can I say? What is more metal than that? And yeah, even on the back, that actually looks like a really cool game. Then, finally, we did have this as a pre-arranged deal. This Cannon Fodder big box. What a game this was. This kind of changed my outlook on what war was forever. This is for the Amiga big box. Now, I do know this is box only, but Console 77 did say there's a little gift in here. It's another copy for my collection of Teenage Mutant Hero Turtles, this time for the Amiga. Now, I'm slowly building up every single copy of this game released because I'm a massive TMNT fan. This one does have most of the inserts. I think it's missing the stickers. So it does have the tattoos and the postcards, just not the stickers. But massive thanks to Console 77 for that little bonus there. And with Cannon Fodder, it does have the manual inside. I'm pretty sure I have a disc-only version of this one, so hopefully I can make this one complete. But as you can see, as always, fantastic pickups from Console 77. Next up, we have one of my most random pickups of recent times, and this is something I'm looking to expand into picking up a little more often, because whenever you're at a Carboot, you may not be finding anything worth either flipping into CX for in-store credit or selling on eBay, and that's when you have to diversify. And something I've been looking at a lot more recently is plushies. Now, today's aren't the best example, because more often than not, I'll pick stuff up thinking I'm going to flip that on eBay or sell it, and it just stays in the collection. What can I say? I'm a collector first and a reseller way down the line when I can be bothered. So, today I picked up some plushies. Now, normally I'd look out for, say, Pokémon, stuff like that, because they're easy to flip on eBay. These ones aren't overtly valuable, but they're 50p each, and they can live out their days behind me here on the sofa in the game. So first off, we have this Turtles plush, because if you've been watching for any length of time, you'll know I'm a massive TMNT fan. My second love is Jurassic Park and Jurassic World, and this incredibly derpy T-Rex, like, is I just couldn't leave him behind. And then I did pick up this South Park Kyle plush. It's not in the best condition. It is an original, you can tell by the label, from 1998. Now, some of these vintage South Park pieces are worth picking up, but it's mainly like the themed ones, like Halloween, stuff like that. But for 50p, I thought I'd take a risk, because at the end of the day, buying and selling, and more selling at the car boot, is all about learning. So nothing great this time, but always keep an eye out for plushies. Which brings us on to quite possibly our most random pickup this time, the novelisation of Dead Island. Dead Island the book. I have no idea how or why this exists, but this is the kind of weird oddity I love finding at the car boot. And for 50p, this is exactly the kind of definition of why I love hunting at the car boot. In case it's not abundantly obvious, I'm a collector of physical media. Of course, I collect video games. I also collect movies and TV shows, as we saw those DVDs earlier, but I also collect physical music, be it vinyl or, more likely the case at the car boot, CDs. I managed to make a really nice bundle of CDs here, 8 CDs for £6, because it always pays to bundle up at the car boot. Now, it's not very obvious I see CDs at the car boot that match my musical style. I like mainly metal and punk, so when I saw these CDs, I had to build a little bit of a bundle here. So we have a selection of Linkin Park CDs. So we have Reanimation, all these are in fantastic condition, Meteora, Minutes to Midnight, and Thousand Suns. Then we have some drum and bass, because, you know, variety is the spice of life. We have Pendulum in Silico, and Pendulum Hold Your Colour. Then we have, another Pendulum here with Immersion. And our final CD is Sepultura Chaos AD, because I remember back in the day when CDs like this in HMV used to be about 16 quid. And I think we are seeing a slight resurgence in CDs, and it is metal and alternative CDs like this that are worth picking up, as these are the kind of CDs that hold the most value. But for me, these will hold the most value in my personal collection. One last pickup before we get onto our main event. We have 2 Call of Duty games. I wasn't sure if I had both of these in my collection already. Sadly, I do. I think I paid £3 for the 2. They trade into CX for about £4. They would cost £5 each in CX, so I might just stick them on eBay as a bundle deal and hopefully at least get my money back and a little bit on top. Which brings us on to our final pickup this time, and probably my favourite pickup of the day. This is a Gamester arcade stick. Now, when I was looking at this at the car boot, I wasn't sure what console this was for. It doesn't say on here very obviously what console it's for, but when I checked the connections, I was like, I think that's SNES and Mega Drive. And then when I got home and looked at it a little bit more, it does have, if you can see down the top, MD and SNES. And I can confirm this is an arcade stick which works for both the Mega Drive and the SNES, which, for the fact I paid £5 for this, I think is an absolutely incredible deal. It has all the buttons you need to play some of the best arcade beat-em-ups, fighting games, any kind of game, because with a lot of games, I think these arcade sticks are the optimum way to play them, especially with all of these turbo buttons here. This is super cool. I can't believe I could pick up something this retro at the car boot in 2025 for just £5. I'm so excited straight after this video ends to jump on Turtles in Time on the SNES using this one, because any arcade style game like that, this is the way to play it. There we have it then, folks. That was another amazing car boot, and it just goes to show you never know what I'm gonna find, and you need to join me for my next car boot adventure. I hope you've enjoyed this video. If you did, hit that like button, subscribe, and as always, keep playing the game. See you soon.